guys, welcome back to Kickin' It Artist Talk. Tonight, Niara and I are so excited to be kicking it with a dear friend of mine. This young lady is a designer, an artist, a stylist, and a model. So, without further ado, let's welcome Kassandra Hazlehurst, also known as Hazkas.
Thanks so much for having me. I'm so excited. I'm so proud of everything you all are doing, and I love growing with you all and seeing what you guys are up to. So I'm happy that we could get together for this.
Thank you.
Let's do it. Ready. My 3-minute my life spiel. Born and raised in Mount Vernon, New York. Represent. I am a first-generation American. My dad is Jamaica and my mom is from Ecuador. Messed that up. Growing up with immigrant parents, if you have them, you know there's a lot of traditional expectations that are put on you. My father's an engineer, so we spoke a lot about, what's gonna make you money, okay, you're creative, but let's be real. My brother and I would draw all day and we were allowed to be creative, but as far as a creative career, that was not something that we spoke about. But funny enough, I would say fashion kind of runs in my blood. My grandmother was actually a pretty famous dressmaker from Ecuador, and she was a modern woman. She was the breadwinner of the household. She was progressive. She was making the money from making dresses. And somehow I ended up being the only granddaughter. And every time she would come to visit, she would bring a suitcase full of custom dresses just for me, which was amazing. So essentially the first couple of years of my life, I spent being a human doll for my mom and my grandmother. So that was kind of my first taste of fashion. And
I'm just so proud that you're actually doing it now, because this girl, she doesn't even remember this moment, but in 6th grade, we watched Selena in school, and we're on the playground, and Cassie's walking around, she's like, I'm Selena. She's doing the model walk, doing all of this stuff. I'm like, okay, we're gonna record. And we're just being total kids, and just the games that kids make up. But it's yo, now you're doing it.
That was
it's all that you love. And even the fact that she still does art. She drew an amazing picture. That was when I was a kid. But drew an amazing picture and even got my widow's peak and everything. I was like, I don't have that. And then I looked in the mirror, I was like, oh, shoot.
Oh my God. Yeah. Still one of my biggest icons, so that is hilarious.
No, real inner child shit.
In elementary school, when we were in school together, I would stay up late, picking my outfits, planning everything, because at a very early age, I understood the power that fashion had. It gave me confidence. It allowed me to explore parts of who I was, and I loved it. I loved it from a very young age. I wanted to go to FIT for college, but again, my parents kind of discouraged me from doing that, out of fear of not having connections in the industry. So we compromised on architecture. I studied that for 2 years. It was super hard, but I learned a lot in those 2 years. I learned skills that I still apply today, but my mental health wasn't where it needed to be. So I decided, it wasn't right, and I left that major. Yeah, honestly, great decision. I don't regret that at all. Left that, ended up finishing college in studio art, which was also really awesome to, study sculpture and painting and photography. I was able to expand my creative skill set in all these ways that I never intended to, and now I feel like such a more rounded creative. My eye was trained in all these different disciplines that I can apply all those things to content creation. Ironically, I ended up working at a high-end architecture firm once I left college, seeing this is what money can buy in a house, custom everything. So that was really cool. They're a very traditional architecture firm, so we did a lot of model making, hand drawing, and that for me is I love working with my hands. I'm a very tactile creative. I like to touch, I like to sculpt, I like to build. Unfortunately, like millions of others, I lost my job early last year, and that was a gut punch. I definitely entered, a phase of depression, and, just wasn't sure, about anything. And I decided to pour my heart into Instagram and creating content and styling. I want to create stuff that makes people feel, you know, something other than just like, oh, she looks really nice. Yeah, like I want to keep just like triggering different emotions in my shoots. I did a shoot last summer with my friend Rami. His Instagram is Dondre Productions, where I wore this dress that I thrifted that when I got it, I was like, I don't know where I'm gonna wear this, but we'll figure it out. Like I feel like my closet is always like that. I'm buying pieces where I'm like, I don't know when I'm gonna use it, but like it's a piece and I need it, period. I'm willing to invest in something to me that is iconic. And I finally got a chance to wear this dress, and it was like this sculptural, like weird, like seaweedy kind of blue dress. And it was like a bright blue, which is a little like out of my comfort zone. And we went to Central Park and we just like were with nature flowing. And so that was really fun. And recently I did a shoot actually surrounded on these head wraps by The Wrap Life with my girl Awadia. Her Instagram is Awadia Photography. And
Incredible. Period. Plug that. I'm at that.
Yeah, she's amazing. Like quality, pristine. Like I was just truly blown away by her work, and I really kind of pushed my like makeup skills. Like I was like, let's just go for it. And I was, you know, trying new eyeliner and new lip things, and like just really stretching myself. I love to stretch myself as a creative. I don't ever want to feel like bored. Like I'm never done. I always want to grow and push and like do hard things, because why not? I think we should all step into what makes us uncomfortable, because that's the only way to grow.
So what are your top 3 makeup artists that you like watch, whether it be on YouTube or Instagram, for tutorials or inspiration?
I'd say my favorite makeup artist right now is Rose Singh. She is iconic. She does a lot of like exact matching eyelid to her outfit, and then like incorporating her earrings. Like she's just so creative. I love Mimi Choi. She is very into surrealist makeup, illusion makeup. So she'll draw a hole in her face. She'll turn her hand into sushi. Just like, she loves playing with the eye and like, you know, messing with your perception, your depth perception. So I love her stuff. And a personal friend, my girl Alexa Russo, we did a shoot recently, and she kind of like, inspired by Rose saying, stretch the print onto my eyelids, like through my eyebrow. I was like, just go for it. And we did a shoot with my best friend, Monica Slattery. And that was great. And she's still one of my favorite artists. And we actually met in architecture school. Also, like, realized architecture wasn't for her, and is now, you know, pursuing makeup. So, and it's kind of funny how things work out. Vogue announced their like Met Gala challenge at the end of April last year, and I was like, oh snap. I read it, I was like, I can do this. Like I can definitely do this. This is like my thing. So I did it. I redid Solange's 2018 look. It's an Iris Van Herpen dress, and somehow was featured on Vogue because of it. It was amazing. That was like the stamp of approval I needed my whole life. You know, if Vogue is like, hey, like you got this, and I'm like, okay, maybe I do got this. And from there, it was just kind of like this kick in the butt that I needed to just go full force into everything. And today I'm lucky enough to be partnering with brands that I love, and you know, I'm growing as an influencer. I'd like to continue to do it like part-time, but I also, you know, have career aspirations as well, and I'm really happy. I feel like I'm walking in my purpose, and it just feels really good. So,
as you should.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's me.
And content creation is no joke, so hats off to you, because that is a job.
So you just mentioned that you got to work with a few of the brands that you like. So you can mention the name of one of the brands that you like, but also I would like you to tell us a little bit about your hair journey after that.
Yeah.
So which brand was that you got to work with this year?
So before the Vogue thing, so lost my job, then here was Vogue. Between both of those things, Pattern Beauty actually reached out to me, and they were just like, hey, like, want to create a wash day tutorial for us? And again, I was literally at my lowest point, and I was just like, yes, like, I don't even care, like, don't even pay. Like, I'm still learning to like negotiate and pitch myself, but at that point I was like, I will just take me, I will do it. Tracy Ellis Ross is one of my biggest inspirations, like as a person, style, everything. Everything she does, I believe in. I have some of their products, and that's all my bathroom is, just pattern beauty everywhere. I swear by their products. But they reached out to me. I did a wash day tutorial for them, which was really fun. My hair journey was, so going back, again, half Jamaican, half Ecuadorian. My mom's hair texture is like a loose wave, and my dad's got like a tight little fro. Not anymore, because he's balding now, but when it was there, it was a little tight little fro. And my brother and I have like a mix of these two textures. Honestly, my head is full of several different textures, but my mom did not know what to do with my hair. And when we were young, I can't say that there was enough representation of natural hair in the media, in TV. Like, I didn't see it anywhere. So to me, I hated my hair. My whole, like, for 18 years, I despised it. I chemically relaxed it for 6 years, I would say, straightening it, burning it to a crisp. Like, the smell of burnt hair today just triggers me so much.
Those long days. It's
crazy. So it was in college, freshman year, first semester ended, and I was really thinking about it. This is back in 2013. So YouTube and like tutorials were like gaining popularity. So I just spent one night, natural hair, like just natural hair stuff. And then I found a lot of videos of women sharing their natural hair journeys and like transitioning journeys. And this is all like news to me. So I'm watching them and I'm listening to their stories, and I'm like, oh my God, our stories are the same. Like, I can do this too. And that next day, I literally chucked my flat iron out the window, and I was like, I'm done. Like, I'm done pretending. I'm done trying to fit in, like, just not for me. And so it took about 3 years to fully grow out my fro. And it was just not just an exterior journey, it was so much more interior. Like, I grew as a person. I, let go of a lot of things, like makeup, just being so self-conscious about every little thing, my thick eyebrows, my mustache. Like, I just it's like, this is me. And I love it. I love every part of like my hair as it grows out of my scalp. Like, I just want to nourish it and make it feel as good as it makes me feel. So embracing my curls really like gave me the confidence that I needed to explore even more like in fashion. I feel like an afro is such a statement that you can really balance it out with like bright colors and like prints. Like, you have just hair just defying gravity, like, just go for it. So that really pushed me to explore color and print. And my fiance actually also inspired me to explore color and print, because he was
great.
His style when we met was a bit hysterical, but he was always unafraid of color, and I definitely was afraid of color, especially as a New Yorker.
It was hysterical.
Very questionable in those early like 2010s and stuff. Was making some choices. Yeah.
It's like, I found now that I cut my locks off and I'm locking my hair again, that a lot of my strength lies in them. And not just because like, it's like, oh, when you bump your head, which is real, when you bump your head and you have locks, you don't feel that shit as badly as whenever you cut off your hair.
Yeah.
But, just like a rooted energy whenever you allow your hair to do something like that, as opposed to any other style that I've done with my hair. It's been a lot more freeing. So I definitely understand that.
Yeah. And I think there's also an aspect of like, our hair forces us into self-care routines. Like, it takes a lot to maintain black hair. It just is. And you either like shave your head and say, no, not for me, or you embrace it. And I spend a lot of time nurturing my hair, but then nurturing, everything else, like just moisturizing everything. It feels good. So I like taking care of my hair. Yeah.
It's maintenance, yo.
Yeah.
Oh, actually, I would love to hear about your pre and post shoot routine. Do you have anything that you do to prep?
I guess I'm still developing that routine, but there are definitely a couple of things I've learned as I've done more shoots like closer and closer together. So pre-shoot, if we're talking like, we're usually talking a month in advance is how far I'll plan a shoot. I like to plan out everything. You know, I'll reach out. I fortunately have several friends who are great photographers, and I literally just like hit them up like, hey, I'll be in town, like let's create. And I'll pick some looks. They're so great. I love to collaborate because, you know, we're both still like, I'm influencing part-time. They're usually doing photography like as a side hobby. So to collaborate allows the freedom to just like experiment and explore, and like the freedom to make mistakes. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think it's so important as young artists that we just keep taking risks. And when you're just collaborating, you know, it's not business, it's just freedom, and you can just flow together and try new things. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. That's okay. Like, I love collaboration, and I usually like pick the looks. Sometimes they'll pick the locations, sometimes I'll pick the locations. And yeah, there's a lot of planning. I'll usually create a mood board and we'll discuss, you know, angles, editing styles, all that stuff. So there's a lot of planning that goes into it. But night before, I guess, sleep, major key, like 8 hours minimum, because I don't look like myself if I don't get enough sleep. I've learned that thanks to 2020. It's one of the greatest lessons I learned. Like, sleep should be priority on your daily list. And I don't take it for granted anymore. It used to be like at the bottom of my list. You know, I would go to work on 5-6 hours of sleep and wonder why I couldn't function. And hey, girl, because you're not sleeping. Sleep. 8 hours of sleep, I'll wake up, and sometimes I'll do like a little cold mask on my eyes because it'll be a little puffy sometimes. Hydration, I'll drink a ton of water, and then sometimes I'm not gonna lie, I like to have a light meal, or sometimes I'll just like forget because I'm like in a rush, like I'm ready to go. Personal thing, I don't recommend that. If you need to eat, definitely eat. And then post shoot, it usually takes the photographer a week or two to get through photos, and we'll go back and forth. We'll usually take like hundreds, if not 1,000 photos, depending on how many looks we've done. And we'll do a back and forth, favorite song. They'll give me a number like, hey, you can only, you know, pick this number, because editing takes a long time. Like, people don't realize, you know, it's an equal effort. Like, I show up, I pick the outfits and I model, that's my part, but now it's their part to do the rest. And it takes a lot of time on both ends. So, you know, I would just advise that when you're working with photographers and other creatives, like, be mindful of the time that it takes both parties to get the job done. And so I try not to, I don't like to put pressure on people. Like, I'll be like, hey, you know, if you could have it by then, cool. Like, because at the end of the day, we're doing this for fun. We're doing this to explore. And yeah, so then 2 weeks later, then I'll get the photos, and then I'll kind of plan my like feed and when I'll post and stuff. So.
And is there anything that you absolutely have to have when you're going on location or just work in general?
On location, I'll usually bring my like backup makeup, like just quick, and maybe like my bronzer, my little concealer, lipstick. If it's the question about like what I can't leave the house without, then Aquaphor and my phone. Yeah, Aquaphor is major key. Moisturize.
Well, it can't be ashy. I know that.
Yes.
Shooting a lot in the winter, and my nose is just like dripping, and I'm like, girl. It's like, bring tissues. I know that's like so small, but bring tissues.
Can you tell us your top 5 designers that you would love to work with or you love to wear?
Okay, sure. So
To wear.
Okay. So my favorite designer, if I ever get the chance to wear them, is Iris Van Herpen. Again, the designer who did the dress for Solange. But I've loved them forever because they take a very like architectural approach to fashion. All their pieces are very sculptural, and they actually use like laser cutters and printing to like then sculpt their pieces. I love watching their process. I think it's amazing. But brands that I love to wear right now that I own, Andrea Iyamah. Her stuff is amazing. Her bathing suits are incredible. I love Cult Gaia. They're super unique. Farm Rio is really fun. They're a Brazilian brand, and they're very much unafraid of prints and color, so my eyes naturally drawn to them. Purses that I really love, there's a brand called Mlouye, again, very sculptural architectural pieces that are bags. Brandon Blackwood is amazing. I don't own one of his bags, but I want to, and I have my eye on them. He's a Chinese designer, and I'd say that's it. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, shout out to Brandon Black.
Yeah. The wine.
Brandon
the wine.
Blackwood. Yeah, no, the wine is good. I'm such a lightweight.
All good.
You saw me, it was like, sip. Okay. No, we actually copped some Brandon Blackwood this
Nice.
year. Yeah, for Christmas. And also Telfar this year. And then I'm wearing, this is a Mount Vernon based brand, actually, if you can see. Visionary Society. From head to toe right now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. All right, fashionistas. All right, I got a little bit of the rift, and I get these pants aren't mine. Painted in
those are actually my dad's pants that I stole because I like the way that the paint was splattered on them. So shout out to honestly all the designers. We will put them down below, especially Brandon Blackwood. Get your purse. Okay?
Yeah, and buy
systematic
buy a
racism
black person,
now.
buy a black person something today, but also buy them land, not just shit. Side note.
All right, so we're gonna ask the 2 top most popular interview questions for artists and creatives. I'll do number 1. Where does your inspiration come from?
A lot of places. I'm inspired by art, architecture, movies, TV, a lot of places. But I think I always am drawn to my roots, my ancestry. My grandmother is an icon to me. She's no longer with us, but this woman, full makeup, statement jewelry, full frame, every day. She was always on. She's a true Latin woman. You always gotta look your best, even if you're just sitting in the house, look your best, period. And just her talent, it's funny, it's kind of bittersweet talking about her because we did have a language barrier. I only speak so much Spanish, but when I was younger it was really hard, so I definitely regret not connecting with her more. But I mean, this is her ring, I wear her stuff, I wear her pieces all the time, and for me it's a way to connect with her and remember who she is. I love looking at her dresses that she made for my mom. I have them now, and I just analyze her stitch work. I can see so much of who she was by the quality of her craft, and it definitely inspires me to keep my craft level at peak. I strive for, I don't want to say perfection, but I'm very detail oriented, and I do not settle for less than. I'm all about quality. So she was just different, she is my biggest inspiration, definitely.
Yeah. Everybody, especially creatives that I listen to, they're always like, yeah, I love my grandma. Oh, I do this for her. And that's true. Shout out the loving grandmas out there, man. Yeah. Hold it down. Matriarch type shit.
Honestly, when we sit down and do our interviews, you can hear about our grandmothers, but
I know, I talk about that shit all day.
For sure. She was a huge friend that got me through the passing of my grandmother, and everything.
One time she actually, I sketched a dress and she made it. So that was
wow.
Yeah. It was this gold asymmetric one shoulder dress. It was honestly pretty fire for a 10-year-old sketch. I don't know where I look back, I was like, oh shit, this is fire. And she made it, and I don't know, just little memories like that I really hold dear to me. So yeah.
She is one of your driving forces to do what you do and to pursue your passion.
And I pray to her a lot, a lot. Before anything, fashion related, that I'm I need my confidence, I need the strength. I'm yeah, flow through me. I know you're here. Like, I don't know. She just
Need your energy, please. Please.
She centers me, and I do my best. I actually when I went back to Ecuador last August, I collected a lot of photos of her at my age. So, and every time my mom posts a photo of me, like today, it's always, you know, her family friends who are still in Ecuador are commenting like, "Oh my God, it's Yaya, there she is!" Like, I'm like, we're like doppelgangers apparently. So, it's crazy. Yeah.
So beautiful. Yo, so thank you for talking with us.
My
It's
pleasure.
been honestly dope.
I feel like I only share so much with everyone via my social media. One of the things I don't really share is my voice, like at all. Like I just don't speak enough, and I just want to thank you for this opportunity to just share a bit more of myself and share my story. And I hope that, you know, if you connect with my story, like continue doing what you're doing and just believe in yourself, because it'll happen.